this Christmas music.
Welcome to Unclassical but Christmas.
Hello. Welcome. Well, Katie said it. Hi.
And this time the boob jingle actually has relevance, because they jingle.
Well, this is also going to be a podcast for most people, but let's get the plugs in early.
Yes.
We think we're going to put this video on Patreon, or if I was feeling very Christmassy, maybe I put it on Instagram. I don't know. I haven't fully decided yet, but if it's just audio, Katie's an elf.
I am. I will upload a photo so that you can see me in all my elf glory. The reason I am dressed as an elf is because I bought this costume for work for Christmas Eve, and then Boris shut us down. So I will get wear out of it. I just found it funny as well, like, because obviously we shouldn't have come out of the lockdown on the 4th of December, really. Like, there wasn't
I don't think we should have come out of the lockdown back that started in March.
Truth. But it was just weird, like, did you see him when people were like, is this lockdown definitely going to end on, like, the 2nd of December, whenever it was? And he's like, it's actually out of my hands, it has to. Like, what do you mean it's out of your hands? You set it. It's like, it's all confirmed, it has to end. Like,
yeah, I have no control over this. What is your fucking job, mate?
Yeah, like, then who is? Tell them to carry it on, because I don't mean to alarm you, but there's 35,000 new cases a day. It kind of sounds like it should be lockdown.
It kind of sounds you should do something about that,
It's out of my hands. Well, then step down and let someone else run the show.
Then put it in my hands, please. Let's sort
It's
this
like,
out.
okay, I'll do it then. No, you can't do it. Well, you're apparently not doing anything. Like, you just literally... What do you think's happening, Boris?
Ridiculous. I think I'm going to... This is for future viewers, whatever. I think we're going to cut this little segment out because this next bit's going up on Christmas Day and we're going to keep it cheery, motherfuckers.
Yes.
That wasn't very cheery.
So,
this could be our teaser saying we're much cheerier than this in the main thing.
we're going to be cheery now. I am dressed as a Christmas elf. I am sitting beside a Christmas tree. There are presents here. Look how beautifully wrapped it is.
Oh, that's cute. Your present is in a cupboard here. I am in a Christmas hat.
Your present's over there.
Oh.
It's not under the tree because then I'll forget it.
Yeah, fair enough. And in a red dress. I feel like I look like one of the girls out of Mean Girls with the thingy song. Oh my god,
Jingle bell, jingle bell, jingle bell rock.
Jingle bell rock.
The thigh slapping their parents like...
Oh! Something.
Mean Girls is so funny. And it's a Christmas film.
This is what Ross was saying the other day, but then I swear... Okay, I'm probably completely wrong, and I will admit I'm wrong, because I'm sure this wouldn't have slipped through the script editor. I swear it starts off with the Christmas thing, and then next it's Halloween for her big party. No, it's Halloween at the beginning. That's how Katie is first mean to her. It is a Christmas movie! Yeah,
because it goes... Not Katie, Regina's first mean, then they have the Christmas Jingle Bell Rock, and then she has another party because her parents are away, and then it's prom.
Yes. Okay,
so it does do a full year.
I'm totally going to watch this. I should watch
It's
it
so
today,
good.
Yeah,
I love it.
So, guys, watch Mean Girls. God.
Watch Mean Girls. Merry Christmas. Get your Christmas jingles.
For other Christmas narratives, what are we looking at today, Katie?
We are looking at a Christmas classic. A Christmas Carol. Now,
It was like a Christmas carol, yes.
So, yes, I read A Christmas Carol. If you wanted to read it, it is very short. Like, this copy is like 120 pages. It's got illustrations, so it's quite big text. So, sorry, you go ahead.
I was going to say, with Charles Dickens, that's who wrote it, that's like his most successful book, and it's the one he wrote in the shortest amount of time, and like, obviously it's really short. I'm like, maybe... take some feedback from that, Charles, with your other, 700-page
Literally. I think the thing is, this is meant to be a novella, and his other books aren't meant to be novels.
They're not.
They're meant to be episodic, weekly inserts.
I'm going to say, though, episodics work better if, you're actually intrigued to move on. It's just not written in the same way that we write things.
Because I haven't read any of the big Dickens works, I always thought that they were meant to be every chapter ended on a massive cliffhanger, and apparently it's not.
Some of them are so obvious that it's the night before the submission, and he's like, oh fuck, Davy, well, he was a bit heartbroken, but he kind of fancied this person, and what's that? You going for a beer? And that'll do. Join us next week. I'll put more effort in next week. You fucking suck.
One thing I enjoy about this is the like the little bits every now and then in it when he speaks, because it's like written in the third person, but every now and then Charles Dickens comes in being like, and if I had been there, I too would have liked to join in, and it's like fucking great.
That sounds like something Rocky Flintstone would do in My Dad Wrote a Book.
Literally. Oh yeah, there's some strange stuff to unpack here, but funny. I see. Yeah, obviously he wrote this in his shortest. This took him the least time to write, and I looked up how he worked on it, and it said, well, it took him 6 weeks to write, and he worked.
I thought it was like 2 days.
No, it took him 6. This is what I thought. It took him 6 weeks, and he worked tirelessly from 9 until 2 every day. It's like he did a 5-hour day. It's bougie.
That should be the normality. It's not the normality the way we work now.
It's
9
bullshit.
till 2 is a hard day. I was going to say, we changed our sleep patterns. I'm trying to think if Charles Dickens was around during, like, the original... No, I think he's post that. He would be, yeah.
Yeah, it's...
Because the original...
Jane Austen.
I say original sleep pattern. Yeah, so what was it? You'd, like, wake up at, like...
You wake up at, like...
You'd have 2 sleeps in the night, wouldn't you? So you go to sleep at, like, 6 in the evening, sleep till, like, 11 midnight, and then you'd be up till, like, 3, 2, and then you'd go to sleep again until, like, 7, 8?
I think it was early. I think it was more you went to bed at, like, 8 till about 1, and then 1 till 4 till 4 till 7 or 6.
Yeah.
Something like that.
I was wondering if he split up his working day like that as well, but no, apparently he is just living his best life.
But it's also, I mean, like, it's Christmas Day, so we would get turned to the capitalistic agenda, but it is bullshit that it's considered for half, you'll work part-time if you work 4 days a week. That is still over half of your week.
I think I might have said this on a podcast before, but I worked with a woman once, and this is like, I worked with a woman once. Interesting.
She should have been at home making dinner.
I know. I was like, God, I feel cheeky enough, but I'm not married, so I'm allowed. I worked with this woman, and she didn't work Fridays. And just because it's so, like, drilled into me that the only reason a woman can't work Fridays is because she has children. I was like, how come you don't work Fridays? And then asked straight out if she had children. That's kind of what I was thinking. And she was like, because I've worked very hard a lot of my life, and I don't like working Fridays. And I was like, I like you. I like you a lot.
Literally.
Yes, that should be completely fine.
But it's even that as well. Like, I earned this for 10 years. I grafted. I worked 7 days a week. And it's like, why? You shouldn't have to. You shouldn't have to literally sell your soul to the devil in order to, make rent.
Exactly. And also, people have different energy levels and that kind of thing. I really believe I have lower amounts of energy than other people.
I do. I mean, I realised on the podcast I kind of hype myself up and appear like this all the time. My eternal state is horizontal.
Yeah. Oh my God, being horizontal is so good. Oh, we were so hungover the other day. I literally thought going vertical was going to kill me. I think I slept for 14 hours. That bit was good. The hangover was terrible. I'm not drinking till Christmas Day. I can't handle it.
Oh my God, I don't think I had anything to drink yesterday, but I haven't been drinking much. I'll be having like 2 glasses of wine or something, so it's good.
By my old standards, okay, I'd be interested to know, guys. So me and my boyfriend shared 2 bottles of wine and a bottle of Prosecco. I swear at uni, I'd have like bounced back from that. That would be great. That's a bottle and a half each. I know one of them's Prosecco, so you're not really meant to mix, but still. Oh my God, how posh do I sound when I say Prosecco?
Prosecco. This is why I never drank very much. The thing is, Marsha, the reason I can't drink very much is because as an elf, my main food groups are sugar, and alcohol just doesn't overly agree with me.
It messes up my levels and everything. As an elf, I can say this.
As an elf.
I thought you were going to say some fat-phobic thing, and that just reminded me, I wanted to bring this up. So I've had to prop my camera up on a load of books to get the right angle, and it wasn't quite high enough. So I needed a fatter book, and I just thought this was perfectly fitting. Do you know what my fat book is to fill up the last space? It's Sophie Hagen, Happy Fat, all about fat liberation. And I was just like, this is Happy Fat. You're the perfect size to bolster it up. And all the other books were too skinny, and they were no good. So well done.
There's a little bit of fat phobia in here.
Oh my God, Charles Dickens loves fat phobia. I'm not surprised. He loves fat phobia and he loves anti-Semitism. Why is he such a dick?
I mean, I don't think that cropped up too much in this one, but yeah, he does.
I swear, isn't Scrooge, isn't he like described as having... Is he described as having a hook nose? I can't remember now, actually.
I remember. I think I've highlighted his description.
Yeah, I'll be interested to hear how he's described. Yeah. Well, let's get into it.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I don't think it is. Anyway, so yeah, firstly, if you're not a massive reader, but you really want to know, like, the proper story of A Christmas Carol, because obviously there's a million adaptations. They all vary a little bit. And you might be thinking, which one's probably the best? And I had to say, hands fucking down, it's Muppets Christmas Carol. Hands down. Literally word for word passages. Like, they tweak some little bits here and there, like, of course, but generally, word for word.
It's pretty true.
It. I mean, this is missing the songs and the Muppets.
They were missed.
Apparently Bob Cratchit isn't a frog. I was shocked too.
Does Miss Piggy appear and say, I'm going to raise you right off the pavement?
Oh, I'll raise you right off the pavement. I'll give you a raise.
Yeah, like, I'm here to give you a raise, and I'm about to raise you right off the pavement. This hands down one of the best lines.
She's my favourite. It's so good. Oh, I'll raise you right off the pavement.
Miss Piggy's great. I remember when I was a kid thinking she was a bit loud and scary, which is probably some like ingrained patriarchal views of like women must be meek and accommodating and friendly and motherly. But growing up and, you know, developing brains, she's great.
She's great. I love her so much. She's the best. So, as you can imagine, the story starts with Marley was dead to begin with.
Well, okay. Like, he was dead.
Which is exactly how Muppets begins as well. And then they're like, oh, what a creepy tale. It's good though. Kind of like chilling. It's like, oh, thank you.
Thanks. I'm just imagining he's written that himself. Like, do you find that chilling? I did. I thought it was rather good. Anyway, moving on. Well,
basically, he goes on to say old Marley was dead as a doornail, and he's like, mind you, of all the doornails, I wouldn't have thought a doornail was particularly dead. If anything, a coffin nail's more dead. But hey ho, that's how it is. And it's like, I feel you needed an editor. I feel we didn't need that, but I did also repeat it. So
I think that's. Yeah, definitely needs an editor for that. It's just hilarious. It's kind of like, you know, your initial notes for making a book. It's like, you would think it would be coughing nail. I think that's funny.
Literally. Like, oh, he's so up himself. So, we meet Mr. Scrooge, Marley and Scrooge were business partners. Marley's been dead for a while, and apparently it says in the book, we really need to hound home about the fact that Marley is dead, because or else nothing else that follows will seem wondrous.
Just bear that in mind. Do you ever have it when you're telling someone about a dream and they're like, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, and you're like, it's a dream. I said it was a dream. Oh thank God. I kind of like have to be at the...
I thought everyone was dead.
Thinking, like, I'm telling you about a dream I had. Just remember that. Like, okay. And then the interest just goes, because no one likes to hear about other people's dreams. Even if they're really interesting.
I've seen that thing, and it's sort of like every white girl. So I had a dream last night, and it's like, I actually find them quite interesting.
Sorry for people watching this on video. I just need to check something. Okay, yeah, that's fine. I didn't know whether I was covering my camera. There we go. Carry on.
So, Marley is dead. He's very dead. Dead as a doornail or a coffin nail, whatever you prefer. And him and Scrooge were business partners. Scrooge never got the sign changed above their door. It still sues Marley and Scrooge, and he answers to both names. Yeah, but he answers to both names because people come and be like, is it Mr. Scrooge? Is it Mr. Marley? He's like, I'm Scrooge. But if people call him Marley, he's like...
I'm like, apart from official things, I like that with the spelling of Marsha. I'm like, whatever you fucking want, mate.
No, I always correct people when they spell Katy wrong.
And you shall know.
With a Y. So yes, Scrooge is, he's not very nice. This is literally just a homage to the Muppets Christmas Carol at this point, because it's the best adaptation, and I'm sorry, but it is literally word for word. So go watch it if you want to know more about the book. So in the Muppets Christmas Carol, we learn about Scrooge from the song, like, there's a cold wind that will chill you to the bone. And
amazing, yes.
And I mean, it's pretty much what they say in this, just without the rhyming and the jaunty tune.
So they did it better.
They describe him as being as solitary as an oyster.
I mean, I don't know much about how oysters live, but Okay.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I'm like, I mean, you get like the lone wolf vibe,
Yeah.
which is also wrong because wolves do travel in packs. So
they do.
Maybe that's why they're lonely.
Oh,
because they're meant to be in a pack.
But it's not the lonely wolf; it's a lone wolf. I'm a bit of a lone wolf. But then, yeah, that is like I've broken off my pack and I'm doing my own thing.
The thing is that the lone wolf is also code for you're a fuckboy who's not worth your time.
Oh, absolute dickhead. The oyster thing. All I can think about is what's it called? Alice in Wonderland, and they were all with their brothers and sisters. They were quite charming until they got eaten.
I mean, maybe that's the thing. Maybe if he hangs out with his brothers and sisters, he'll get eaten. Maybe that's the secret.
Maybe it's
meaning.
Mother Oyster. She was quite lonely after all her kids got eaten. She did tell them not to go out.
She did tell them, to be fair, and you know what? She was right.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
When you're right, you're right.
When you're right, you're right. Just like, well, now you're all dead kids, aren't you? I did tell you. This is why you gotta listen to your mom.
You've got to listen. So, this is how Scrooge is described. We'll see if it's anti-Semitic. I don't think it is.
Okay. I might be thinking of something else.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure he wasn't great, but I just don't think it pops up too much in this book. The cold within him froze his old features, nipped his pointed nose.
Pointed nose, maybe.
Pointed.
I knew there was something about the nose.
Yeah, I feel, I don't know. I don't know.
We're open to be educated on this, or to do more research.
Yes, very... Whichever you like. If you'd like to educate us, we're welcome. Shriveled his cheeks, stiffened his gait, made his eyes red. He sounds terrifying.
Shriveled his cheeks.
His thin lips blew and spoke out shrewdly in his grating voice. A frosty rime was on his head and on his eyebrows and his wiry chin. He carried his own low temperature always about with him. He iced his office in the dog days and didn't thaw it 1 degree at Christmas.
Scrooge, you're gonna die. Like, this whole intervention, it's not to do with, like, your moral outlook or anything. It's because, like, you can't be going around with blue lips. You've got some serious circulation issues. You need to get to A&E.
And red eyes.
Yeah, you need to get to A&E, bruh.
It's not right. You know what? This next bit, when he's chilling in his counting house and Bob Cratchit's there all chilly.
Money. Bob Cratchit was in the corner, feeling rather chilly.
His nose was getting runny.
Yeah. Anyway, festive cheer.
Again, this is just going to be a complete homage to the Muppets Christmas Carol, because when his nephew Fred comes in, it's word for word the exact same scene. So that's just delightful. I love Fred. He's a great guy.
We all love Fred. He's a real stand-up book.
He's a real stand-up guy. I don't know why, but I just enjoy this. I don't know why, it just made me giggle. So this is a second-hand copybook.
Yeah. And
so someone else has highlighted and written a little note. And I don't know why. That's not even funny. It just entertains me.
Yeah, I'm intrigued.
And it's just Fred saying, "A Merry Christmas, Uncle. God save you," cried a cheerful voice. And they've just written, "Even though he's poor, he's still cheerful."
Oh, okay. Because poor people aren't allowed to feel cheer, especially at Christmas. You ain't got no capitalistic value. Like, you got a smile about.
I get it. Because, like, Scrooge's whole thing is like, why are you so happy? You have no money. And he's like, why are you so miserable? You've got loads of money. And Scrooge's like, to be fair.
Yeah, you got me there. You got me there. I mean...
I don't know why. It just entertains me, the idea of, like, a student being like, this is relevant.
So relevant. I could write a whole essay on this.
Do it. I mean, to be fair, that is what school is, isn't it? It's like, I mean, you know, you could write an essay on the fact that Scrooge is chilly.
Yeah, you could. What was
cold heart within, not thawing him out.
That is sorry. Just going back to Scrooge being like, "Why are you happy? You're poor." That is a weak ass argument to throw out there. There are just so many comebacks to that, and then he's just like stumped. You're like, don't be throwing out these arguments if you haven't got anything to come back with. It reminds me, very small tangent, of the time my friend got cornered by someone like promoting Christianity in Sainsbury's. Nothing against Christianity, but he said basically you won't be welcomed into eternal life if you don't follow this. And she was like, well, what if it's not real and you've spent your entire life following Christianity and when you come to the end it was all for nothing? And he couldn't answer it. I could think of about 5 answers to that. And it completely stumped him and he didn't know what to say. I'm like, and she apologized. She was like, I'm really sorry. I kind of was just hoping to have a bit of a debate. I didn't mean to like shatter your whole belief system.
Have you seen, it's okay, this tangent's Christmassy.
Yeah.
Have you seen Miracle on 34th Street?
No, I haven't actually. No.
Oh my god, it's literally so good.
Yeah.
So the setup is that real Father Christmas is in New York.
Yeah.
I think. And he starts working as a like shop store Santa, just like because he's obviously really good and he's really sweet. And it's like, oh, it's a bit of fun, isn't it?
This, to be fair.
He's like, to be fair, I am very good at this. And then like so some other stuff, like another store is angry because they've got the best Santa. They try and frame him as being like a bad guy by provoking him, and he like smacks someone, and the person's like, oh my god, you injured me so badly, and so he gets taken off to prison.
Oh god.
Yeah, but like at this point he's like, because he's like the best Father Christmas that the store's like ever had in all its history, everyone's like, it's the real Father Christmas. I'm like, obviously, like,
I mean, what do you think that? But anyway, Christmas cheer carrots. Suspend belief. Carry on.
All the kids are like, it's 100% real Father Christmas, and obviously the papers are all playing it up and everything, being like, yeah, Father Christmas, and then it's like, fuck, real Father Christmas is in prison, and so they're like, and obviously he's like, well, I'm not being funny, mate. I can't go to prison. I've kind of got a big job tonight.
Yeah.
And so then there's this court case of like this one guy who's like, I know you're the real Santa, so I'll get you out. And he's like, thank you, friend.
Get on it though. There's a court case over Christmas. No courts are open. Oh my god. Sorry. I'm stressed. Guys, suspend Christmas Carol. What happens, Katie?
So, it's just really funny. So they're like, so this one guy's trying to prove that he is Father Christmas by bringing in people being like, have you ever told your children that this was the real Father Christmas? So like, and they're like, well, yeah. So they even like, they get like, so all of this is going on, and then the other guy's like bringing in
character
like,
references,
and then the other guy who's against it is like bringing in like people being like, I've been to the North Pole, there's no sign of life there, and everything like that. And then the best part is there's this little girl in it, and she like gives a $1 bill to the judge, because the judge wants to let Father Christmas know, but he's like, I cannot say in good heart, like in good faith, that Father Christmas is real in the court, like I can't say that. And so he's gonna like send him to prison, and he's like sad about it. But then the little girl gives him a Christmas card with a $1 bill in it, and on the $1 bill it says, "In God we trust," and it's circled it, and it's just like, if you want to start poking holes in the fact that I believe in Father Christmas, I'm going to get real up in there about God. And it's literally like, okay, then we won't push it that one anymore then.
I like that. That's good. That kid is
so
switched
funny. Also, you know who the kid is?
Who? Oh,
Matilda.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think I did know that. Yeah, Matilda.
It's so good. It's,
okay, I just love
it. It's so, I just love it. Well, if you're going to start poking holes in my fragile belief in Christianity, I guess we'll leave that to one side. You go have a very good Christmas or a Merry Christmas.
I mean, respect to all religions, but I do find it really weird, like especially in like America with the president and stuff, when they just sort of say, we're putting our trust in God with this, we're doing this, and like even like in our country we've had prime ministers say stuff about God and everything. You're like, for like a multi faith country with people from loads of different religions, that I don't want you to put your hands in God because of your faith in God to like take control of this. Yeah, that's just you kind of like that's Boris Johnson saying, I actually have no control over this. It's
the lockdown is going to have to end on the 2nd of December. I have no control of it. He has.
I'll take it up with him. I mean, when do you just
he's trying to purge us?
Because then you get like, obviously there is a limit, and they haven't like, you know, actually like come out on like the stage, but other countries, you know, do come out on stage and like, well, I just had a chat with God, and now this is what we're doing because God said it, so anyone want to come at me, you're a blasphemer, so yeah, fuck you, we're doing this. You can't do that.
So bad.
Anyway, Christmas.
Back to A Christmas Carol. So Scrooge tells his nephew that he won't go to have Christmas dinner with him, and his nephew's like, okay, uncle, I will try every year because I care about you, and I'm a nice person and you suck, and you literally have nothing else.
I'm a nice person.
Literally. And so then like Bob Cratchit is there shivering in the corner. He's like, Merry Christmas, Bob. Have a wonderful Christmas. And he's like, you too, Fred. And it's like, because he's a nice person. Yeah. And so then Scrooge goes home that evening, and he gets up. So where he lives, it's like this big old house that's like, it's not like a rundown side of town, it's just not a homely side of town, you know, like it is expensive, but it's not like a house, it's like more like business offices. Nice. So Scrooge rents most of them out as business offices, most of like the rooms, and it used to be Marley's, so it's just like, it is cold, it is barren, it is not a nice home. And so when he gets there, he like looks at his door knocker, which he's never really paid attention before, and he sees a very familiar face. And then, let any man explain to me, if he can, how it happened that Scrooge, having his key in the lock of the door, saw in the knocker, without its undergoing any intermediate process of change, not a locker, but Marley's face.
You would shit, to be fair.
You would shit. Marley's face. It was not impenetrable shadow as the other objects in the yard were, but had a dismal light about it, like a bad lobster in a dark cellar.
It had a dismal light about it.
I didn't know lobsters produced their own light source.
When you said it, I was like, oh, because it smells. And I was like, wait, he didn't say it smelled. You wouldn't say a door knocker smelt. What is this simile?
A bad lobster in a dark cellar.
Is he just looking around at random shit? Like, lobster was quite a normal thing to eat back then. And he's like, just looks at his dinner like, that was a bad lobster. Like a bad lobster in a... Oh, it's quite dark in here. A dark cellar.
Cellar. I'm so good at what I do.
Dark lobster. Okay.
It had a dismal light about it, like a bad lobster in a dark cellar.
This, I just want to say, guys, this is why we do Unclassical, because these are the kind of fucking gems that don't make it into TV adaptations.
Can you imagine, like, Marley, is that you? You have a dismal light about you, like a bad lobster in a dark cellar. Like,
so the cellar is
like,
pitch
sorry,
black.
what?
So, yeah, lobsters don't produce light.
Lobsters now produce their own light source, but only when they're naughty.
Or going off. Is this a thing? Was like rots? Can it become luminous? Like,
No,
no,
it's not a thing.
Not a thing.
So that
Amazing,
happened.
brilliant, best simile I've ever heard. Moving on.
It was not angry or ferocious, but looked at Scrooge as Marley used to look, with ghostly spectacles turned up upon its ghostly forehead. The hair was curiously stirred, as if by breath or hot air, and though the eyes were wide open, they were perfectly motionless. That and its livid colour made it horrible, but its horror seemed to be, in spite of the face and beyond its control, rather than a part of its own expression.
So it just comes from horror, so it's horror incarnate.
So it's scary.
It's scary at the end of the day. I like that he's like, it looked at Scrooge how he used to look, and then describes like this really horrific stuff, like, is that how he used to look? Just like,
yes. Did you not hear the description of Scrooge at the beginning? These men are terrifying.
You wouldn't borrow money off them, because that's what they are, aren't they? They're money lenders. There's like, would you like some money? No, you look horrible.
No, I'm alright, thanks.
There must be other money lenders in town, not just you two horrors.
Well, maybe. I don't know. And so Scrooge is like, ah! And like runs inside, because he's like, fuck that shit. And upon its coming in, the dying flame... Oh, wait, where am I?
I don't know.
Oh, yeah, I skipped a little bit. So, yeah, he goes inside, and he's like, that was fucking weird. I'm gonna go to bed. So before he goes to bed, because he's still like, that must have just been a trick of the light. I must be overtired, or I can feel like I'm getting a little bit of a cold, so it must just be in my head. Yeah. So he's like, he's still a little freaked out. So he's like, I'm gonna just quickly check around my rooms just to make sure. Okay. Yeah. So has a little look around, doesn't find anything, sits down to a bowl of gruel, because apparently gruel is what you eat when you have a cold and you're mega rich. So.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah. That is it. It's like
Delicious.
He stepped onto a bowl of gruel. He felt he had a cold coming. Like,
okay. Fair enough.
Aye. I don't know why, like, because when I read these things, I'm like, that's a weird detail to focus on. And then I focus on it because it entertains me. I'm like, you should have edited that out. Well, I'm going to pick at it.
I'm going to pick it apart now.
And they're like, well, why do you complain about us not editing when these are the parts you focus on? And I'm like, fair.
Fair.
I enjoy them. They entertain me.
I enjoyed the moments. I'm just saying it could have been stronger without it. But yeah.
So he starts hearing like noises coming up the stairs, and he's like, humbug. It's humbug. And they're like getting closer and closer. You can feel like the sound of like dragging chains on the floor. And he's like sat in his room with the door like bolted and everything. And he's sat by his little
So when he says it's humbug, that's him being like, it's nothing. Oh, it's but a humbug.
Yeah, he's like, it's humbug. It's just humbug. It's nothing. But then, so he's like, the door's locked. It's fine. But it comes through the door. Upon its coming in, the dying flame leapt up, and as though it cried, I know him, Marley's ghost, and fell again. The same face, the very same, Marley in his pigtail, usual waistcoat, tights and boots, Classy.
Classy.
The tassels of the latter bristling like his pigtail, and his coat skirts and the hair upon his head. The chain he drew was clasped about his middle. It was long and wound about him like a tail, and it was made, for Scrooge observed it closely, of cash boxes, keys, padlocks, ledgers, deeds, and heavy purses wrought in steel. His body was transparent, so that Scrooge,
do you know what
observing
that fucking
him...
sounds like? That is the original Pandora bracelet. With the charms. And they're
I'm sorry
ugly.
to everyone whose loving boyfriend got them a Pandora bracelet for Christmas.
Or just the charm, just get them the charm. Their mum bought them the main
charm.
bracelet. I'll just get her a charm.
Yeah. So, just as a warning to you all, that is a slug boy.
Yeah. And if you like them, come on.
Yep.
Come on.
If you like them, do better.
Like, they're so ugly. And literally mine is rocking in one.
I realise I cannot judge people's fashion when I am dressed as an elf, wearing literal baubles in my ears, but I'm still doing better than you.
Still doing better than someone wearing, and the ones that are like covered in charms, and they're like, this one's got a 4-leaf clover because I like to feel lucky. Like, oh my god.
This one's got a heart because it represents my nan.
Oh my god.
We're so horrible. I'm
They're
sure it's
so
lovely.
They're horrible.
And also, like, they're really ugly and cheap. And they're really expensive.
Yes! This is the thing. If it was kind of like, it's a little charm bracelet. It's like £3 a charm. It's just funny. Da, 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 da. But they're like, isn't like, you can spend like 100 quid on a
like
charm,
40
I swear.
quid.
Yeah,
I swear
average
the cheap
40,
ones-
but you can spend like 100. You can probably spend more than that. Like, ridiculous.
No.
So, you're telling me on your wrist right now, you're wearing about £500 worth of shit. Like,
Of tacky, ugly shit.
and it's also,
Chunky,
it's not like,
ugly shit.
it's not like diamonds, which hold their value to a reasonable amount, which you can resell. I swear Pandora holds no value whatsoever. So it's just useless shit. It's capitalistic shit.
Made by slaves.
Made by slaves. Capitalistic,
so was this
exploitative
probably,
shit.
But at least this is cute.
Yeah. Merry fucking Christmas, you dickhead. Well, I didn't really get so angry about Pandora.
I think we all need to calm down, have a glass of wine, and leave the Christmas arguments with the after dinner mints.
Yeah, leave it there. Simmer down.
It's
if anyone got a
Christmas Day.
Pandora necklace or bracelet today, go break shit.
It's just like, if you got one today, I'm sure it's lovely. I'm sure it's really thoughtful.
Really sentimental, really nice. Everyone's really nice that got that for you. Was it a group present from your whole family? They chipped in. Aww.
Marsha,
Yeah.
can you fuck it? I know they wouldn't because, we have taste. But can you imagine if, like, you got one, like, that was, like, a gift from, like, Ross and his parents, and, like, I got one from, like, James and his, like, parents, just up there, like, and then they listen to this, just like...
Oh, Ross knows not to get me a Pandora bracelet.
So does James, but can you just imagine,
yeah.
Obviously this one's nice.
This one's lovely. I love it. I thought you were going to say, can you imagine it in, like, a distant future if we actually had any success with this? If Pandora offered, like, a sponsorship, like, I'll do that. Fuck it.
Yeah, fuck that.
Just, like, casually take this Christmas special off the internet. I love Pandora.
They're great. Just move that to the side. Anyway, back to the guest.
Back to the book. You can cut that bit out.
Disney should sponsor us because this is just an hour and a half long advert for Muppets Christmas Carol. So go get Disney Plus.
Yeah. So go do it, guys.
So Disney give me free shit.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. So hilarious. Again, straight out of Muppets Christmas Carol.
Yeah.
Well, Muppets took it straight out of the book. So Scrooge is still being like, I don't believe that there's actually a ghost standing here. Anything can, like, I could be ill. You could be a piece of cheese. Yes, there's more of gravy than of grave about you, whatever you are.
All you've had to eat is gruel, Scrooge. So where are those bits of food in your stomach right now?
But then it goes on to say, Scrooge was not much in the habit of cracking jokes, nor did he feel in his heart by any means waggish then. I was like, I thought it was pretty waggish. I thought it was... I like a pun, Scrooge, and I appreciate it.
I appreciate it. That was a from me.
Just in the corner. Funny.
It's like, you don't often crack a joke, but when you do, you come through.
There's more of gravy of you than of grave. Class!
Class.
Great!
Round of
Imagine
applause.
being terrified and coming out with that gold dust.
Oh my god, I had the best one last night. I was just thinking, I had something good the other day. So, I've put on weight in lockdown. It's been a hard year.
Who hasn't?
Yeah, I know who hasn't. And not being fat phobic or anything, but I just felt a bit sluggish. And I said to Ross, it probably is a bit based in fat phobia, I said to my partner, I was like, I'm not like, getting hung up or anything about it, because I just figure we've had a lot of stuff on our plates this year, so you might as well fucking eat it. So it's the best line. All on your plate.
So good.
Laughing.
It's just because it was very good. Well done.
Yeah. I was like, it's just like I meant it like completely sincerely. Like, we've had a lot on our plates this year, so you might as well eat it.
You might as well.
Get some enjoyment out of food while you can.
Yeah, food. And it's Christmas, guys. Slight tangent, but it's relevant because Christmas. I know some of y'all be seeing it too, because I'm seeing it. Just because it's Christmas doesn't mean you need to lose out on your fitness journey. Don't wait till January to start on the fitness journey. Put those people, take them off your newsfeed, and flick them in the sea. It's Christmas. Eat 78 roast potatoes and pudding.
I haven't seen anyone doing that, but my feed is quite carefully curated. I am aware they are out there. So yes, curate your feed, guys.
They are toxic. They are liars. 78 roast potatoes.
Feed yourself the roast potatoes and feed yourself positivity. That's what you gotta do.
Also, any fucker that tells you that they're going to go all out on Christmas Day and have 4 roasties is a cunt.
Yeah, it's a dickhead, and you don't need them in your life.
You don't need that kind of negativity in your life. It's 78.
78 at least. And I'm not talking 78 bits of a potato. I'm talking 78,
I'm talking 78
potatoes. And jacket potatoes. Not your iddles, not your jacket potatoes. 70. We might not have enough oven space, but 78.
There must be 78 potatoes
on everyone's plate. It's what you need.
I'm fully down for it. We're having cooked camembert, dippy camembert as a starter before Christmas dinner.
No,
it's gonna be great.
I won't go into what we're having. We've already had a Christmas dinner, so we're not having Christmas food on Christmas Day because I can't be fucked to make it, and I'm the only one that really cooks.
You're not having 78 potatoes.
Might not even have one potato.
78 potatoes.
Where are your 78 potatoes? She's really tickling herself here.
There must be 78 potatoes.
So take that forward, guys. You heard it here.
Look, in Father Christmas's workshop where I live, every Christmas Day, we have 78 roast potatoes. And I'm just very passionate about it.
Moving on.
Marley goes on to tell Scrooge, he's like, look, mate, look at all my chains. They're really heavy. I am bound.
They're not blingy.
I'm bound to carry... They're not blingy. They look like Pandora shit. Ugly as fuck. It's not trendy. I'm not into it. But I am forced to carry it forever because I was a prick.
Yeah.
You're a worse prick than I am.
He's literally describing Pandora clients. Sorry, carry on. I won't get caught up in it. I'm a prick.
Yeah, but literally. So, yeah. He's like, you have to do better. And Scrooge is just sort of like, this is all humbug, I tell you. And at this, the spirit raised a frightful cry and shook its chain with such a dismal and appalling noise that Scrooge held on tight to his chair to save himself from falling into a swoon.
Grab on tight, lads, we're swooning!
Like, okay, your precious flower, you should probably have eaten more today than gruel. You need something more, otherwise you will get lightheaded.
Yeah.
So, this actually isn't a ghost story, it's just about malnutrition.
Yeah, it is, yeah. You will hallucinate if you do not eat your 78 potatoes. I cannot insist enough.
Again, about the 78 potatoes. It's very important on Christmas to eat your 78 goddamn potatoes. So this episode is going to be called 78 Potatoes.
Yeah, I think we found the title.
But so Marley's like, yeah, I was a dickhead in life. This is why I'm cursed to carry like this. And Scrooge's like, but you were always a good man of business. And then he realised he's talking about himself as well. And I'd just like to bring this all home to the Tories.
Oh, right, yeah.
Stab it.
Stab it. You stab it right now.
Stab it.
I was going to say...
You're going to have some pretty heavy chains. Especially you, Boris. You literally cancelled Christmas. You suck.
Boris will have a Pandora sponsorship next year. Like, he's going to be covered head to toe. Yeah, I was going to say, if someone was talking about, like, you know, you as a person, and you're like, and they were like, I'm pretty shitty. Like, I don't know, you run a pretty good business. Like, fucking thanks.
That's got nothing to do with anything. If anything, that's sort of, I mean, obviously you get many business owners who are good, but just sort of like, in the context of this, they're pricks.
But then if you have a business owner that's good, you probably wouldn't lead with, you run a good business. But like, really nice, you do this. Yeah,
if that's the only redeeming feature, like, you're a pretty good businessman. Like,
yeah, be like, you're a dickhead then. I'm like, fucking thanks. But when you're like, oh, that's Tories, like, yeah, they probably would say that. And if you said that to a Tory, like, you're good at business, they probably really, really like that. Sad. What a sad little life, Tories.
A sad little life you live. Again, back to my theory that all Tories are Slytherins.
Yeah. Theory.
You heard it here first and classical. Facts. So, Marley's like, you're going to be visited by 3 spirits over the course of the next 3 nights. So it isn't Christmas Eve just yet, just to put it out there.
Well, I don't agree with that, but okay. I suppose Dickens is allowed to write his own story.
So... this is the thing, and we're going to come back to it, because I have seen an adaptation of this where they do it's all on a different night, and each day he goes about his day, and it's really fucking boring. Because obviously on the first day he hasn't learned very much, and then on the second day he's learned a bit, but he's still like, oh, I'm still weird and unsure, so like, although I feel the guilt now, I'm not going to act on it. And it's like, I'm not being funny, but this is like a 2-hour book. And it was like a 2.5-hour film.
Sorry, but just like, to take it back maybe a little too dark, but isn't this like people challenging their own, like, you know, white supremacy and inner racism? Like, first we're like, no! And then the second day you're like, I might be a bit of a dickhead. I might have had, like, you know, some blinkers on to certain things. And then, like, by the third day you're like, we are all complicit in white supremacy and white privilege and everything, and we all need to do a lot better. You boy! No! Stop telling people what to do! But, yeah, go and learn from it.
If you're going to take anything from today's episode, dear listeners, give the Christmas present of not being a fucking racist.
Yeah, literally.
This tonight, at your Christmas dinner, when good old Uncle... Well, not this Christmas, because the Tories cancelled it. When you're on Zoom later to your good old Uncle Bob and he makes a racist joke, don't laugh along.
Don't laugh. Call him
you
out.
don't have to get angry. You don't have to get angry. That's the thing.
Yeah.
You don't have to get angry. You can just be like, that's actually offensive for X, Y, and Z. And if he gets angry, you don't need that kind of negativity in your 78 potato life.
Also, that is the bonus of this year. If he starts getting angry back at you could be like, well, I've done my educating part. Off you go, Uncle Bob. Fuck you.
You can just hang up on him.
Yeah.
Education,
guys.
So... Marley's like, well...
I just want to put a little caveat, though. If it's particularly tolling on you, and especially for people of colour, it's not your job to educate other people, but you can say you're actually racist right now and you should go educate yourself. Boop! Bye, Uncle Bob.
Yeah. So, that's the thing. At this point, it's not black people's jobs to educate. Yeah. It is our job to do better.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. They have dealt with enough.
My God, that's kind of the point. They've dealt with enough, guys. Jesus.
Yeah. Stop trying to get them to do more. You suck! So, yeah, Marley's like, well, look, mate, I know you might not like it, but they're coming. So the first one's going to come when the clock...
That sounded chilling. They're coming.
They're coming.
Oh, God.
Humbug!
Here come the ghosts. Here come the ghosts.
Basically. Yeah. So Marley heads out the window. He's a ghost. It's not going to fall. It's going to be okay. And Scrooge
goes... I'm a ghost. I can do the shit.
Scrooge follows and looks out. The air was filled with phantoms, wandering hither and thither in restless haste and moaning as they went. Every one of them wore chains like Marley's ghost. Some few, they might be guilty governments. Let's be honest, the governments are wearing many chains. They were linked together, None were free. Many had been personally known to Scrooge in their lives. He had been quite familiar with one old ghost in a white waistcoat with a monstrous iron safe attached to its ankle, who cried piteously at being unable to assist a wretched woman with an infant whom it saw below upon a doorstep.
Ooh, that is chilling. They should put that in some dark version, and definitely have some well-known politicians that are dead walking around.
It's in I think it's in the Jim Carrey version, which is shit.
I've never seen it.
Oh, sorry. It's shit. So that part's obviously like canon, and then I just like obviously they follow the basic structure of the film, but I mean it's not like Muppets Christmas Carol. So...
Yeah, it's not good.
What's even? It's not the Muppets or Mickey's Christmas Carol, so what's even the point?
Yeah.
I don't like it.
Sorry guys, I'm just taking my tights off. I'm getting hot over here.
So I'm going to show you the picture of the first spirit, but we'll also put it on up on our Instagram for you guys as well, because it's fucking scary. God. So clock tolls 1, and Scrooge is there in his bed like, and then the curtains by his face, because it's this 4-poster bed, gets ripped open, and a light comes shining in at him, and he sees a strange face. It was a strange figure, like a child, yet not so like a child as like an old man, viewed through some supernatural medium, which gave him the appearance of having receded from the view and being diminished to a child's proportions. It's hair
Benjamin
which hung
Button.
around. Yeah,
literally.
Its hair, which hung about its neck and down its back, was white as if with age, and yet the face had not a wrinkle in it, and the tenderest bloom was on the skin. It's also freakishly muscular.
Ew! That makes it worse. Because they're strong and grabby. This way a bit. Katie's just aligning to the camera. No, cover your own face with it, because your face is in shot. But come closer. Can't see. Come closer. What? Oh, I was looking at him and I was like, he looks like fucking Dobby. Oh no, that's the kid. The kid's chilling. The kid looks kind of like an 80s rocker though. He's got that kind of like blonde, shaggy hair thing going on. You can imagine him, singing some song.
So yeah, I'm just going to show my camera again to make sure they've got it.
I see. Yes, we have to have the video call, guys, and then the filming camera. 2 different things.
Yes. So yeah, he's horrible.
Yeah. And Scrooge looks a lot like Creature or Dobby.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he's like, you're coming with me. And Scrooge is like, I don't fucking think so, mate. And he's like, I don't care what you think, you're coming with me.
Come on.
So, and then he's like, to the window with you, and Scrooge is like, I'm mortal, I will die. And he's like, don't worry about it, you're a bit shit anyway. So he grabs him and they fly out the window.
Yeah.
And then, so this is how it's described. The grasp, though gentle as a woman's hand, was not to be resisted. Fuck off. Women are gentle, demure.
Did you say the grass? Or the glass?
Grasp.
Oh, grasp. Right. I was like, I can't even get involved with that. Did he just fall out the window onto the grass? It wasn't me to resist it. And he died. Oh.
And that's why it's such a short book.
The grass was not to be resisted when he splattered into it in 1,000 pieces. Sorry, the grasp was not to be resisted. Oh, of the child, which was gentle. I'm with you. Yeah, fuck off women being gentle.
The child that's also an old man.
Yeah.
Very weird.
Ew. Sorry, that's the gentle, firm grasp of like, come with me. No, don't touch me.
Creepy. So it takes him out the window and then it flies away, and they arrive at Scrooge's old school. And something that's not in the Muppets Christmas Carol or many versions that I've seen, he starts to cry and just cries pretty much continuously throughout this whole thing. And I get it's sad looking back on your shitty childhood, but come on.
Yeah.
It's Christmas.
It's Christmas. Let's not the boohoo's, Martha. I'm going to be a better person now.
I just feel that visually, obviously, you're entitled to your emotions. You can cry if you want to cry. But I just feel from a storytelling point of view, and maybe it's good, maybe we should have more images of men crying. But personally, I just get the image of like, throughout, a bit annoying.
A bit annoying. And also, for the time, I don't think Dickens was particularly out there being like, we need more strong male characters who are willing to show their vulnerable side. He's just being like, and I can't really be bothered to do more character arches with this one, so he was still bawling.
Yeah, it's a bit much.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. So Scrooge looks back at his childlike self. All the other boys have gone off home for Christmas, and he's like remembering all the books he used to read, like Robinson Crusoe, Alibaba, that used to keep him company throughout his long.
Crusoe is like his gangster. 2020
Robinson Crusoe.
Is it?
Yeah, that's the one. That's the one he's reading.
Why am I saying it now? What's his first name?
Robinson.
Robinson. I couldn't think. I had Jonathan in my head and Robert, and I was like, it's neither of those, but it's something.
It's something.
Robinson Crusoe. Yeah, coming out.
Robinson Crusoe, man. I didn't read it. Scrooge did.
Yeah, God.
But yeah, so he's remembering all of that, and he's like looking at his sad, at his like little sad boy self, and he's all like,
sad little life.
Sad little life, Scrooge. So the spirit's like, why? What's with you then? And he's like, nothing. There was a boy singing Christmas carols at my door last night. I should like to have given him something, that's all, because he like shooed the little boy away when he came to call last night. So he's learning.
He's learning.
He's doing better.
We're all growing here.
And we see like the years go by and everything, and this is where it differs from a Muppets Christmas Carol actually. So in the Muppets Christmas Carol, we obviously see, I don't know why I'm obsessed with it, but I am. We obviously see his like schoolmaster come in and tell him like, off you go to be an apprentice now, bye. But what actually happens is his little sister runs in and she's like, Ebenezer, you were to come home and spend Christmas with us forever and ever. Father is so much kinder now. And he's like, ah,
Father.
So he gets to go home and spend Christmas with his sister, who is his nephew Fred's mum. Yeah, just for...
Yeah. No, I did need that. I wouldn't have put that together. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And although this doesn't say, I think we can establish that one of the reasons he is so cold towards Fred is because the only friend he ever had, really, or who was close to him and showed him proper kindness, was his little sister, and he probably finds, because she died really young because she was sickly, and so he probably finds, like the image of Fred quite challenging, because it just
we don't know if she died in childbirth, do we? Like, I'm wondering if that's something like all the childbirth. I think
she died like shortly after.
So it is all Fred's fault.
It was Fred's fault, to be fair. Fred, you should have done better.
Yeah.
And then we go to meet Fuzzywig and see what's going on with him, who is his employer. I know, it's a great name. Fezziwig, actually, not Fuzzywig, but
Fuzzywig.
Fuzzywig.
Fuzziwig. Much better.
And so again, this is just me being silly, but so there's two apprentices, Ebenezer and Richard, and so the first thing we hear Fezziwig say is, "Yoo-hoo there, Ebenezer, Dick." But we haven't been introduced to Richard at this point, so I was just calling him out straight out and saying it.
Yeah. Or you, dickhead. Yeah, you.
Oi, Ebenezer, Dick.
You're just like, I'm very accurate.
And I just thought that was funny.
So
they have like a massive. So he's like, it's Christmas Eve. Like, let's pack up early and have a massive party. Let's have a great time. Clearly before Corona times, when that got cancelled.
Yeah. Thanks,
Boris. So they have a BG time, have a great party, and yeah, have a great time. So he's like, and so now Ebenezer's reflecting, being like, he was such a good master to us, like, we never wanted for anything. He made the work fun. He made us, like, we'd have done anything for him because we were just so happy to help him because he was such a good boss.
Yeah.
And the spirit's like, what's wrong now? And he's like, it's just, I should like to be able to say a word to my clerk just now. That's all. And it's like, because obviously he's not very nice to Bob. So yeah.
He's not very nice to Bob, to be fair.
He's not very nice to Bob.
So I can see why you're feeling that way, Scrooge. You are a bit of a dick.
So then, like, Spirit's like, I've got another thing to show you. So he's like, I think you remember this young lady, and we see Isabel, who was Scrooge's love interest and everything.
Yes, when you said Isabel, my brain died, and I thought that was his sister, and I was like, oh, we're heading into these waters again, are we? All right, let's strap in, right?
His girlfriend, and she's just basically like, it's like they're at a funeral and she's sad, and Ebenezer's being a bit like, so we don't know whose funeral it is, but she's like, so we're not going to get married because you've changed, and he's like, well, I don't like money now, and she's like, yeah. so I don't really think we can be together anymore. And he's like, look, I've never actually said I don't want to be with you. And she's like, no, not in words, but you don't love me. Yeah. I'm a poor girl. I can give you nothing. I don't have a dowry. All you care about is money. So clearly this isn't going to work anymore. And he's like, oh, why didn't I? Well, I didn't say those words, but it is like you've read my mind.
It's like we're one mind. Like, oh my god.
I can throw it out. We should totally do something sometime.
You are so unhot to me.
Like, you're right. You are poor. It's kind of gross.
Ew, poor, nasty. Yeah. I thought you were going to say it's like a funeral and she's upset and he was like cracking on or something. Like, funerals totally make you horny.
21, 22, 23. Could you not count your money right now?
Yeah. I'm so rich. I could afford this funeral like 10 times over. Woo!
Literally. So, yeah, and Scrooge is like, please don't show me anymore. Like, I know I lost out and like fucked up big time. I did love her and I messed up. And the spirit's like, you don't want to see any more? Would it upset you if I showed you what her life is like right now?
I haven't seen this version. I want to see what her life's like now.
So she's like an older maid, like an older lady now. So, you know, like, but she's still like very sweet and nice and everything. And her daughter was like the splitting image of her. They're sat by the fire having a BG time. And I think it's like her daughter's children. So like she's the grandma. Are like running around having a great time. And this is Dickens getting involved because like there's like a few kids running around. The daughter and Isabel are like sitting by the fire having a great time. Oh, what would I not have given to be one of them, though I never could have been so rude. No, I wouldn't for the wealth of all the world have crushed that braided hair and torn it down, and for the precious little shoe I wouldn't have plucked it off, God bless my soul, to save my life. As to measuring her waist in sport, as they did, bold young brood, I couldn't have done it. I should have expected my arm to have grown round it for a punishment, and never come straight again. And yet I should have dearly liked, I own, to have touched her lips, to have questioned her, that she might have opened them, to have looked upon the lashes of her downcast eyes, and never raised a blush, to have let loose waves of hair, an inch of which would be a keepsake beyond price. In short, I should have liked, I do confess, to have had the lightest licence of a child, and yet been man enough to know its value.
I'm really lost. I don't really understand what he wants.
I don't. Literally, I'm just like, what?
He wants a lock of her hair, but he
wants to kiss her.
What was the whole like
measure her waist?
Yeah, what was the? I'm guessing like has she gotten a bit bigger in like later life because her favourite pastime is eating? Because fuck off, just let me live my life. Because he says like the sport of waist or something. I think he's talking
about her daughter because they're all sort of like, well, her daughter's fit because she's old.
Before you said that bit, I was going to say like if this was a different book, it would end up with Scrooge marrying the daughter, literally. Like, when I say different book, I mean same author, but, just a slightly different trajectory of narrative. Yeah. And when you said, like, the daughter's got children, I'm like, oh, that won't happen because she's another man's property. But if she was single, Scrooge would definitely cop off with her.
Yeah. So, I don't really know what happened there.
No, I don't. So, he wants a lock of her hair, but he wants to be a child. He wants to kiss her. He wants to... he doesn't like the crushed shoe. He wouldn't have crushed a shoe.
He's Oedipus. He wants to be her child, but also sleep with her.
Oh, my God.
This is what I'm getting from it.
She's so motherly and nice. I want her to look after me, but also like just sip her a cheeky finger because lol, I'm a man and lol.
And he's like, but I never would because, well, incest.
Yeah, incest. Gross. You can't be someone's kid and like go off with them. But my God, don't we all just have that thing like breastfeed me, mommy, and it gets complicated for sure. Complicated. Like,
it's weird.
Is that? We're taking massive liberties with that.
I don't know.
I don't know, and I'm scared.
Literally, I just highlighted that because I was just like reading it like, sorry, what?
What's happening now? Dickens does do a lot of like, not incentives. What's the word?
Tangents, where he's just...
No, insinuations. He does do a lot of insinuations. You're like,
what are you trying to insinuate here? I don't know, man. I'm very confused.
So we shall go on confused, but judging confusion.
So now that he finds himself back in his own room in bed, and it's nearly 1 o'clock again. So he's like, oh, I guess I've slept all the night, so guess I better get up. No, it's still dark, and the clock is tolling for quarter to 1 in the morning rather than the
afternoon
day.
Yeah,
I don't know that they talk differently, but apparently they do.
If so, that's very... Well, surely you could just tell by the light outside. I was going to say that's very clever, but
that's
it's
the
also
thing,
not needed.
Well, that's the thing, because it's dark out, so he's like, did I sleep
Yeah.
through the day? So this is why every other version is like, they're going to visit you all in one night, because they don't go into the
that's
days.
What happens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I really know that's the thing.
Yeah.
So
strange details, Dickens. Strange details.
Yeah.
Not needed.
Strange details, Katie, that you could have just glossed over, but instead decided to fixate on. Why are you like this? I don't know.
I don't know.
These are the parts that I obsess over. So it gets to like 1 o'clock, but no like figure comes to him. So he's like, oh, there's like a light in my other room, so I'll go in there. And there's a giant sitting in there, surrounded by like festoons of food and like decorations all around and everything.
Just walking in like, you look shocked. I was not expecting this.
I was not expecting a feast. I'm very happy. And it says, I am the ghost of Christmas present. Look upon me. And this gets funnier. It was clothed in one simple deep green robe or mantle bordered with white fur. This garment hung so loosely on the figure that its capacious breast was bare, as if disdaining to be warded or concealed by any artifice. Its feet, observed beneath the ample folds of the garment, were also bare, and on its head it wore no other covering than a holly wreath, set here and there with shining icicles. Its dark brown curls were long and free as its genial face, its sparkling eye, its open hand, its cheery voice, its unconstrained demeanour, and its joyful air. But I just enjoy the, look upon me. I'm barely clothed.
We must cast off our robe.
Literally, look upon me, Scrooge. Look at my breast.
Got my ample bosom and ample belly. Can I interest you in some turkey? Like, that is a man who's got grade A body confidence going right there, and that's how I'm going to introduce myself. I've also, just for anyone watching the video, decided to put some holly in my hat. The
very
spirit
nice.
Inspired me. Very nice.
Very nice.
Very nice.
Hey. So the spirit takes Scrooge out into the world. He's like, I am the ghost of Christmas present. I will show you what Christmas is. And again, if you will refer to my main source, the Muppets Christmas Carol, they will now sing, it's in the singing of the church quarter choir. It's giving love to a mother or a brother, but not like Oedipus, because that's not Christmas. That's called incest.
Yes, please leave them alone.
But yeah, so basically that, but over like 12 pages. This is not a long book.
Yeah.
You should know how much detail was put into the grocer was selling his wares and having a BG time, and everyone buying them was having a BG time.
Yeah, that sufficed. It's like when I was reading like Dickens episodic stuff. The way it's written is given loads and loads of details, and because he never gets to the fucking point, that's kind of meant to build the suspense. I'm like, no, you're meant to get to like smaller points that are kind of like, oh, and then what, and then what, and then what to build suspense.
You're not just meant to talk about the fucking curtains.
Yeah, don't just describe a window for 4 pages. No one gives a fuck.
Literally. So that happened. And so like, he's seeing like how lovely Christmas is, like all the lovely things for sale and all that.
Lovely.
That took me 30 seconds.
Yeah.
So then he goes and then the spirit takes him to see Bob Cratchit's family. And Mrs. Cratchit's wife, and that is the only name we get for her.
Of course. Yeah. Standard. Why would you need to give women names? She is the wife.
Exactly.
She fulfills the wife duties. You will learn she is mother. What more could you want to know?
So they're having a BG Christmas. Like, it's a very simple affair, but they're having a great time. Like, all the kids are helping make the food. Tiny Tim and Cratchit aren't there right now, but they come back a little while later. Tiny Tim is helped across because he has to have like an iron frame to keep him upright. He's described as, and having a crutch, obviously.
Wait, does he have to lug? Is that the right word? Lug the iron frame around with him all the time? Because that's fucking heavy.
I think he gets carried most places. He's very small.
Wood would be better. Like, you can make wood sturdy, and it's cheaper and a lot lighter. Why are you... you're all going to have fucked backs if you're moving iron frames around. I used to sell fireplaces and sell iron grates for the bottom of fires. They are only... I know this is audio for a lot of people. Not very big. A foot and a half across. And, maybe like half a foot deep. But they're fucking heavy. and he's got a whole frame. Guys, I know Victorian doctors aren't always bang on the money, but my God.
I feel that maybe the reason he's got like a shitty iron frame is because they don't have any money. They can't afford to get him a new one, so they might have just nicked that.
Expensive.
Well, that's
Wood
maybe
is cheap.
Maybe they had to just nick it off someone else who's had a crippled child.
Well, you know what? Then his parents are fucking strong. So you're nicking an iron frame and running off with it, like.
Tiny Tim is hench.
Yeah.
He's not crippled. He's just got to lug iron around him all the time.
He's absolutely
he'll be fine.
Could I leave the iron frame at home this Christmas, Father? No, you need it, Tim. Okay, it really is wearing me out, Father.
Oh, poor Tiny Tim, you are so weak and
You are so tiny, weak Tim. All your siblings carried the iron frame until their 5th year. I feel you shall not make it so far. Oh, Father.
I feel like I need to, like, double check this now.
I mean, an aluminium frame. Not a steel frame, that's heavy too. Iron is just so heavy. Like, this is ridiculous. On a fact-finding mission.
Yes. Alas, for Tiny Tim, he bore a little crutch and had his limbs supported by an iron frame. I was right.
That would fuck you. So, you get steel-capped boots, right? Which are really
They're
heavy.
heavy.
They're heavy. They fuck up, like, the ligaments and stuff in your knee joints because it pulls it all apart. If he's got that on the bottom of his leg... Guys, how there is no world where you have that where you're not disabled. Like, that will make you disabled. Like, that will fuck up your leg. Victorians do better. You didn't give him a chance.
Maybe the reason he survived is just because, you know, it's like down to education. When Scrooge started taking an interest in his life, he's like, let's take that off. Are you feeling better? Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, I'm going to have to Google this to see, like, I don't doubt it's definitely a thing, but just, like, I want to see pictures, and the moment they were like...
I want to see pictures when I said, I was like, iron frame. That sounds cumbersome. Anyway, so they end up having a delicious dinner, and Bob Cratchit said, and calmly too, that he regarded it as the greatest success achieved by Mrs. Cratchit since their marriage. Because as a woman, she can only achieve food and marriage and children.
Of course.
I know Bob Cratchit's the good guy, but damn, he's sexist.
Yeah, but oh my God, it's true though, isn't it? Like, she literally wouldn't have been able to achieve any other success. So, be like, well, yeah, thanks for noticing, and it's sad that you're bang on the money. Like, if my partner was to say that to me now, like, this is your biggest success since we've been together, like a good meal, I'd be like, fuck you. But for her, she'd be like,
not since we've been together. True. This is your biggest success since landing me.
Oh yeah, it's true. But then again, that's probably true as well. Like, and that's all very actually honest and true. My God, we need to change up that equality in this country. We need to riot right now.
It's
this
so
can't
bad.
be true.
So shitty. So then they're having a BG time, and Mr. Cratchit says that he's like, I'll give you Mr. Scrooge, the founder of the feast. And for the wrong reasons, but rightfully so, Mrs. Cratchit is like, the founder of the feast? Fuck no, mate. I'm the one that fucking cooked it. Although she doesn't say that. She doesn't say that. She's like, he's a prick to you. This is my one success in my life. This is what I will be and you're giving it to a man?
Yeah. And you're giving the honour to a man.
Literally annoying. So yeah, and then he's like, but it's Christmas Day, and like, to be fair, that's not why she's annoyed. She's annoyed because he's a prick, and she's like, he could afford to pay you much better than he does and not treat you like shit, and you wouldn't have to sit in a freezing cold office every day, but he doesn't because he's an asshole. And he's like, you are right, but Christmas Day? And she's like, fine. I hope he has a fucking great merry fucking Christmas. Maybe he'll not be such a cunt next year. Oh, Mrs. Cratchit, if only you knew.
Only you knew. Yes. I feel there's a pun in that with Yule. If only Yule
knew. Y'all knew.
You'll find out.
So they move on, and again they just go for like an overall sweep of the world and view how different people celebrate Christmas and have a BG time. There's a particular one where they end up on a boat.
He wanted a bit of diversity, and now he's like, now just a bit of inclusion and diversity. It's been a very white cast. Let's look across the world.
Let's see everyone.
Yeah. Sweet.
Yes, so they found themselves on a boat with like sailors and everything on it. They stood beside the helmsman at the wheel, the lookout in the bow, the officers who had the watch, dark, ghostly figures in their several stations. But every man among them hummed a Christmas tune, or had a Christmas thought, or spoke below his breath to his companion of some bygone Christmas day, with homeward hopes belonging to it. And every man on board, waking or sleeping, good or bad, had a kinder word for one another on the day on that day more than any other day in the year, and had shared to some extent in its festivities, and had remembered those he cared for at a distance, and had known that they delighted to remember him. And I was just like, that's nice. Yeah. Especially this year when we can't be with our loved ones sometimes, so at least y'all got Zoom.
Yeah, at least you got that. I mean, technology, guys, like, it has been a blessing this year. Like, I understand when we're kind of in this mess because of the way we live our modern lives, and we're just kind of, all those natural resources, we're just exploit. Oh my god, there's been a backfire, who'd have thought it? But at least on the other hand, there are certain things in place to help with the fact we fucked the planet.
Yeah,
I'm trying to be positive, guys, I'm trying.
So that after he's seen this and he's like, that is nice, I'd like to see some family, please. Can you take me to kin? And the spirit's like, yeah.
Am I fucking Uber?
Am I fucking Uber?
On a spiritual journey. I'll say where the stops are. Fucking hell. However, your nephew is slagging you off, so let's pop over.
Let's pop over there. Well, this is different as well. So anyway, this part's quite problematic. So Fred's there, and Fred's just like, BG, great guy.
Yeah.
Laughs at us, like, he's well humoured, he's having a great time. His wife, again, she's lovely, like, she's having a great time as well. And she is described as thus. She was very pretty, exceedingly pretty, because as women, we must focus on their appearance.
Of course.
With a dimpled, surprised-looking, capital face, a ripe little mouth that seemed made to be kissed.
Oh, I hate that. I hate, like, fresh, ripe for the plucking, freshly...
Disgusting.
There for being
freshly
fucked,
a child.
They say. It's I hate it. Like, and she was at that tender age where her bosom was starting to appear. Stop fucking sexualizing children. You're actually
literally
fucking disgusting.
Like, stop. When was it okay for paedophiles to just be out in the open? When did that happen?
I swear, like, maybe not like they make it like choice remarks to each other, but you still hear men like making disgusting things like,
it's still complete.
She's gonna get it like that. Ugh.
I mean, and you ask any, like, you put it, I think it was a thing on like TikTok or Facebook or whatever, and it was like, what age did you first experience sexual assault? And most of them are like 11 or younger.
Was that the thing I shared? Because it wasn't, some of them were sexual assault, but it was the first time you were aware that you were sexualized as a child, and it was the normality.
Oh, no,
I remember,
so, like, when was the first time you realised as a woman you were sexualized? And 90% of them were children. Like,
yeah, I remember being at school. And one of the teachers, because I went to the same school as my older sister, Naomi, kept calling me Naomi. And he said something like, oh, sorry, that's really bad. Next time I do it, tell me and I'll give you a house point or whatever. I can't remember. And he was on bus duty and he was like, your bus is here, Naomi. And I was like, oh, you've done it again. And he literally, this might not come across, well, it will come across creepy on the podcast, but it will work better with visual. And he was like, oh, I did, didn't I? We'll have to come back after class and we'll have to rectify that. And I think he was like, oh yeah, it was very bad of me. And I was like, keep your fucking house point.
Right.
What the fuck? I think that's my first memory. But it was just so normal for them to say stuff like that to us. So gross.
So her little mouth that seemed made to be kissed, as no doubt it was. All kinds of good little dots about her chin that melted into one another when she laughed, and the sunniest pair of eyes you ever saw in any little creature's head. Gross. Although she was what you would have called provoking, but satisfactory too. Oh yes, perfectly satisfactory. What the fuck do you mean provoking?
Sorry, I'm a little bit filled with rage.
Yeah.
She's asking for it. She was wearing black underwear. She was like, it's like provoking. Like, oh my god, what was I meant to do? You can't wear that outfit. It's very provocative.
You can't.
Men won't be able to control themselves.
Not even that. You're very pretty, therefore you're provoking.
Yeah,
because
exactly.
Of just the way you are. I mean, don't get me wrong. You can wear whatever the fuck you want, and it's not provoking. You're entitled to that.
But also, you can wear whatever the fuck you want. You could be in fucking joggers and a hoodie, and you could still get raped. Like, it's got fuck all to do with any of that. And just like, oh, but you know, her mouth, it was provoking me. Literally, like,
then
no.
you should be in prison.
Oh my God. Like, if I was reading a book now and it said that, I'm not really one for internet trolling, but I would fucking have to send them a message or something. Like, Dickens, I understand you're from a different time, mate, but you were getting cock punched. Like,
so
provoking mouth. It's the kind of thing I struggle to understand why it was ever acceptable, because if you break it down, you're like, just by existing and looking quite nice by society standards, you think she is provoking you into acting sexually towards her. Like,
but
I don't understand
like
in any age you can describe that.
But it's just like, what do you think you're saying by being like, you're provoking because you're attractive, but you're satisfying. It's like, it's not even like you're hot, or, you know, it's not even like you're beautiful. It's just like, you're satisfying, but good enough for me to rape you. Like,
literally, like, it's a bit like negging, like, you know, when you like kind of give them a compliment and the backhanded one, like, I don't think this is a compliment, but you know, from his point of view, like, your mouth is provoking. You're kind of satisfying, I guess. Like, you know, I want like, you, but not that much. Like, you know,
I don't understand why people think negging would work. Being like, I think you're actually kind of ugly. You want to get it on? No. I want you to go away.
It's people also, with like, low self-esteem, isn't it?
Yeah, and it's just like the idea that, you know, guys think girls are like, oh, please think I'm pretty, please think I'm pretty, please think I'm pretty, it's all I live for, please think I'm pretty. It's like,
yeah,
like, fuck mate.
And also vying for your affections. You think
I bought this outfit to be attractive to you?
Yeah, I've done this for me. And, like, you care whether they like you or not. And I kind of, this isn't just, like, a guy thing, but, I don't know, other people, like, caring if you like them or not. And you get to, like, a certain point in life, you're like, I don't care if you like me. Like, I really don't. You can think what you want. And there's like, oh, okay, well, right. Like, I'm not even sorry. I'm not even sorry. This is me.
So now we get into like the weird, because this whole scene at Fred's is fucked up. So his niece, can't remember her name is now. She has two sisters.
Probably wasn't mentioned. The niece.
Yeah, it is mentioned. I just can't remember what it is. So Scrooge's niece's sisters, the plump one with the lace tucker, not the one with the pretty roses, like, and that is how she was referred to, and she's like made the butt of the jokes because she's fat.
Oh, yeah.
And then nice, this is really gross.
Cheap jokes.
Yeah, this is really gross. So they have a mate there as well for Christmas called what's his name, Tucker or something.
Tucker. Very American.
I mean, it's not Tucker, but it isn't far off. Topper.
That's more English, to be fair.
Topper. So they're playing Blind Man's Buff, and Topper's the blind man, but he keeps grabbing the plump sister, and like
sexually assaulting her.
Yes, and it's all done like obviously in that vein of like, oh, stop it, I don't like it, and it's like, no, stop fucking touching her. But when at last he caught her, when in spite of all her silken rustlings and her rapid flutterings past him, he got her into a corner whence there was no escape. Then his conduct was most execrable, for his pretending not to know her.
Execrable, as in excrement. You took a shit on her.
His pretending that it was necessary to touch her headdress, and further to assure himself of identifying by pressing a certain ring upon her finger and a certain chain about her neck, was vile and monstrous.
Like she's got
Stop touching her.
Brain power. She said fucking no. You pushed her into a corner, and now he's giving her some presents. I mean, you can just give her some presents. Yikes.
No, he's not giving her presents. He's touching her up, being like, "Oh, is that you, Millie? Is that you, Millie?"
I thought he said he put a ring on her finger.
No, he was like, oh, I can't tell if it's you. Oh, wait, I can tell it's you because you have that particular ring on your finger.
I see.
But he's like, it's all like a big
necklace around her neck. Right. I thought he was giving her the presents, and I was like, well, you're dexterous for a blind man. I'll give you that.
He's touching her. And like, obviously got her pushed up in a corner. And it's just like, but it's written in that way. It's like, oh, it's fun and games. I'm like, no, that's fucking horrific. She's like, if that happened and all your mates were around laughing while like one of their mates was touching you like that, you'd go home and cry.
You would. And also she's got no power there, because if she stands up and goes like, get the
she's
fuck
the party
off me.
Pooper.
Yeah, exactly. So I'll just laugh along. Isn't it fun? Isn't it funny?
Well, you all make jokes about the fact that I'm fat, and that's why he's keeping to catch me because I'm the big one.
I'm too slow, and he keeps getting, like, you can't guess who I am because, I'm the biggest one in the room, it's pretty fucking obvious you're grabbing me and you can feel my size, but, you have
and you've literally pinned me against the wall, but whatever, and you're literally, oh yes, I can feel that necklace on you.
And there's this whole thing of like, oh, don't spoil the good time by calling shit out and that kind of thing. Like, people make comments in offices. Don't spoil the good time
by being sexually assaulting.
Literally, I've got two things to say about this. So, like, in the workplace, people will make comments and you just have to kind of, like, laugh it off because otherwise, like, oh my God, like, she's so, like, uptight. She, like, doesn't, like, let things like that slide, only having a laugh. And, again, I forgot my second one. Oh,
it's just like...
I saw a post on Instagram about it, and it was like, when you're watching, you're going to watch a movie or something with your partner or whoever, and they're like, oh, do you want to watch this? And it's like something produced by thingy Harvey Weinstein or something. You're like, another film produced by rapists for rapists. Brilliant. And another film about exploitation. And the partner says, oh wow, you've always got to ruin everything, haven't you? And she goes,
no, they ruined it.
Yeah, come on a little journey with me. She's like, back to 2008. What was Harvey Weinstein doing? He was raping and assaulting people. What was I doing? Mind my own goddamn business. So
you tell me again.
Everything.
Who really ruined it?
Yeah, and me not talking about it, what does that breed? And the partner's like, a tendency of secrecy and not calling these things out and making it okay. Exactly. So again, who really ruined everything?
Also, like, oh, you ruined the mood for not laughing at my sexist joke. Honey, I think you ruined the mood by making a sexist joke that made me feel uncomfortable.
Exactly. I remember one time, I've said this on the podcast before, but I was wearing like a kind of sheer top at like my old job, and one of the company directors said, "Is that a pajama top?" And I was actually just generally confused about what was going on, and I was like, "No." And so he was like, "Oh, because it's a bit sheer, isn't it?" And I was like, are you telling me it's inappropriate to wear out to work or something? Would you rather I wore something else? Because he was my boss. I was like, are you actually saying that I should be wearing this in the office? Because I didn't think it was that, and so I'm confused. And he was like, no, you can obviously choose to wear whatever you want. It's just nothing. Because obviously if he went any further, he would have admitted that he was like looking at my boobs through my top. And by all common standards, it was a fine top to wear. And then another female designer over in the corner kind of laughed. She was like, that was so good, you like called him properly out but in a completely professional manner. And I was like, oh yeah, I didn't actually really mean to. I was actually just really confused about what was going on, like whether I was being disciplined in front of the whole office. I was like, no, but can you actually just identify what you're actually saying to me and what you want my outcome to be from this? He was like, well no, because then that makes it really awkward. I just wanted to let you know I can see your breasts and I like it.
I like it. Wear it more, please. It turns me on.
I like it.
I like it. Like,
but obviously, can't say that. So,
God, Marsha, I just want to say, Marsha, why did you have to spoil his fun like that? Like, you always got to ruin the fun, don't you? Just let him look at your tits.
So I kind of feel like, call people out and call them a perv. You want to call them a perv straight to their face. Like, don't neuter your language. I like that.
Sounds
don't edit your language to try and be easy. If you want to call them out. But also, if you kind of want to find an easier middle ground without jeopardizing your position, I think just push it back on them and say, no, sorry, I don't actually understand what you're saying. What do you mean? What are you getting at? Should I not wear this top? I don't understand. I can get a different top. I won't get a different top, but I'm gonna get a different top.
Literally, make them spell it out, and then they'll know that they're the wrong ones, and you've done nothing wrong.
Yeah.
Now we're on to the final spirit.
Ooh.
It was shrouded in a deep black garment, which concealed its head, its face, its form, and left nothing of it visible, save one outstretched hand. But for this it would have been difficult to detach its figure from the night, and separate it from the darkness by which it was surrounded.
Ooh.
It's literally a Dementor.
Are you out there? Can't quite tell.
Is anyone alive out there?
No, I'm a ghost. Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah, savage. So this spirit basically is showing him around, all these people being like, oh, I thought he'd never die, that one, what a prick and everything. And Scrooge doesn't get that he's talking about him. He thinks it must be someone else, and he's like, I get it, this could be my fate. Can I see my future self to see what I'm like? And the spirit just keeps taking him to more places where these people are like, gorge, yeah, he's rubbish.
Such a dick. Obviously they're not talking about me.
Obviously they're not talking about me. I'm doing so much better now.
That's a different dick. I'm a very nice guy.
I'm a very nice man. So now then he takes him to a place where these people are selling like things they've gathered. So it's like trinkets, bedclothes, things like that. And one of the women who's brought something, she's like, I've got his best shirt. They were going to waste it and bury him in it. And they're like, what would waste? So Joe's like, wait, what would wasting it be? Putting it on him to be buried in, to be sure, replied the woman with a laugh. Somebody was fool enough to do it, but I took it off again.
Nice.
So savage.
This is like London, though, isn't it? And the age of grave robbers. I don't know if it's still on BBC iPlayer, but there was when they were building the HS2 train line, which I think they've abandoned now. But anyway, they like had to unearth 2 massive burial plots, one in Liverpool and one in London. And fucking hell, the London contraptions on the graves to stop grave robbers. But one I thought was really weird. There was like an iron thing they put around like their head. So basically, if you wanted to get the body out, you'd have to decapitate the head, and it protected the body. But I was like, I'm not going to sell you. Well, I could sell your hair because, you know, selling it for like sciences and stuff. And they were like, for that kind of like body, they would have had like, you know, it would have been a rich person. But, you know, if I want your clothes or something, you know, I'll just cut your head off. You know, blood maybe would be a problem. Or would it after you're dead? It's not flowing. Anyway, and sell your clothes. And, you know what, I'd drop your body off at the medical place. Maybe I wouldn't get quite as much money because you didn't have a hair. But I'm like, there's still organs in there. It's all right. I was like, I don't think that's quite enough. But apparently it worked. Because I think the coffin was broken, and then they saw it had like a head protector on it, and then they'd left it. Like,
maybe they were, because brains are a big deal, so maybe it was like, we'll only take bodies with heads. Or maybe because because of that they were getting loads of bodies without heads, and it's like, look, we've got a lot of headless corpses here and no goddamn heads,
spleens and livers.
I would
like. I can't figure out why you got a headache.
So maybe that's it. So now he's like, please show me some tenderness in this world. Like, you know, it's like, all you're showing me is that this poor dude who's died, who definitely is not me,
not me,
has like, you know, no one likes him. Show me like some sort of something nice in this world. And so the spirit takes him to Bob Cratchit's house, and he's like, fuck man, it's pretty quiet here. It's normally pretty lively atmosphere. And yeah, it's all very quiet and somber inside. Mrs. Cratchit's trying not to cry. Bob isn't there. Like, all the children are just sort of like quietly going about their chores, not saying anything. Bob comes home and he's like, oh, it would have done you good to see how green the place is. It's really nice. It's going to be lovely. And then like, so yeah, he's sort of like, so yeah, he's all upset and everything. And then he just breaks down going, my little child, my little child. And this is where it grossed me out. He left the room and went upstairs into the room above, which was lighted cheerfully and hung with Christmas. There was a chair set close beside the child, and there were signs of someone having been there lately. Poor Bob sat down in it, and when he had thought a little and composed himself, he kissed the little face. He was reconciled to what had happened, and went down again quite happy.
So he's dead upstairs, but he's had time to go and source the burial plot and kind of take care of all the details, which supposedly would take maybe a day or two, a few times. And little boy, and I'm guessing they don't have a lot of room. It'd be quite normal for all the children to share a bed.
There is one room upstairs, and there's a dead.
No,
your dead brother is in the room upstairs. There is a fire downstairs. No.
Oh my god, it's gonna be decomposed. That. I mean, maybe he organised a funeral very quickly. It is Christmas. Maybe walked in and was like, my son is dead on Christmas. Could we put a rush on this? And they were like, yeah, to be fair, we've got one out the back by the green. Like, thanks.
I don't care. It's disgusting.
But I bet they're not going to collect it till body day? Boxing Day.
Even then, that's a national holiday. Gross. There's a dead child in the bed upstairs.
That's disgusting. My boyfriend's brother works for a morgue and collects bodies, and he's usually on call over Christmas and stuff to go and collect bodies if it's needed.
But also,
the main morgue's closed.
If like you're, you know, heaven forbid, awful if it happens to you, your child dies, is your first port really, well, best go sort off the grave? Like, do you know what I mean? Like,
I suppose if you're expected to keep it in the house until it's buried.
It's not like we have the room for him, is it?
Literally, oh my god, stuff like this was happening with corona. Like, relatives were dying, like, because they were scared about like contagion and stuff. It's literally like plague times, and also because funeral homes and morgues were overrun. They were like refusing to come get bodies, not in England, but like in other countries, or maybe in England. Maybe I just don't know about them in England, but I know they've all been like overrun.
Gross.
Merry Christmas.
In that same cheerful voice, we're going to go back to the toxic masculinity. So Mrs. Cratchit kissed Bob. His daughters kissed him. The two young Cratchits, because there's like 2 kids who are like under 5, kissed him. And Peter and himself shook hands because, you know, men cannot show emotion or
masculine.
affection.
Sorry about your brother. Sorry about your son.
No. Like you can hug your other son when you're do you know what I mean? It just annoyed me.
Yeah.
So, yeah, Scrooge
Dave okay, sorry, slight tangent. A little while ago, I was cutting brie for my boyfriend's dad, and he wanted, I was cutting brie and he wanted a piece of brie. So I held a piece out for him, and he grabbed my entire hand and put all my fingers in his mouth with the brie. And I was like, whoa, dude, don't grab things like a fucking rat. That's weird. And then I helped him sort something out on his iPad yesterday, and he shook my hand. And I feel like now he's confused and he doesn't know where the boundaries are. I'm like, all fingers in mouth. No. Shaking hand for sorting something out on your iPad. A little bit weird.
See, this is why I only touch, sounds weird, word touch, but I only really have physical contact with my boyfriend.
Yeah.
I don't really touch other people. I will extend, I mean, obviously not going to because Corona times. I will extend to a hug, but I do not cuddle other people.
No,
I do not kiss other people.
I don't put other people's fingers in my mouth.
Well, I mean, that's just weird, Marsha. It's nice.
It's very nice, especially when it's real.
Very nice.
Don't want to waste the brie. Get off the fingers.
No, yeah, that's fucking disgusting. Know the limits.
Yeah.
So, Scrooge is like, I didn't want his kid to die. I didn't know that his kid was dying. I will pay him more now. That is pretty fucked. I don't want his child to die.
Like, I'm not a monster. I do feel bad. I do feel things. Really, I wasn't so sure.
Yeah, so he's like, I will do better. But then, obviously, because he's still a prick, he's like, so, that guy that totally wasn't me, that totally was me, who's dead, it's not me, is it? You can tell me, like, and so then the spirit like takes him to a graveyard, and he's like, and the spirit's like, look at the gravestone, like pointing down at the gravestone. If you want to know who the dead person was, that's where the name is. And so he's like, okay, I'll read it in a minute. But these are the shadows of things they're not set that they're gonna be that way. I can change them, otherwise what would be the point of showing them, right?
Yeah.
Right?
It's human choice, right? There's another.
And he's just like,
it's like The Sims before you take off free will.
Yeah.
There's some free will where there's some wiggle room.
Yeah, so he's like, the spirit's just like, look at the gravestone, mate. And he's like, I get it. I will read it and I'll see my name. Like, blah, blah, blah. But I will do better. That won't happen. Right? And the spirit's like, and so then he's like, oh God, it says Ebenezer Scrooge. I will do better, Spirit. I'm so sorry. And like, starts
it's like,
crying.
and is this my cue to like, have a spiritual awakening and promise to do better? Because I will. Yeah. Oh no!
Oh no! So, yeah, then he has a spiritual awakening and he wakes up and it's Christmas morning. And
Christmas Day in the morning.
Going back to the Muppets Christmas Carol. He's delighted. The bedposts were his own. The curtains were his own. And there's a bit in the Muppets Christmas Carol where Michael Caine, who plays Ebenezer, he's delighted with everything. He's like, oh, I am here. The world is here. And then he looks at his reflection. He's like,
Yeah. If the podcast listeners didn't get that, it's of disgust when he sees his own reflection.
Yeah, at first he's like, it's me. Oh, it's me. Gross.
Oh, gross. Need to work on that face.
Need to work on that. So yeah, he's having a BG time, and he calls out the window to a little boy running in the street, being like, hello there. What day is this? What day? Why, it is Christmas Day. Like, Christmas Day. The spirits did it all in one night. They can do anything they want, can't they? And so he's like, can you go, he's like, and then this makes more sense than the Muppets Christmas Carol, because he's like, if you go get the butcher from down the road to bring that massive turkey to my house, I'll give you half a shilling, and I'll obviously pay him too. I'm not just going to give you the money, because then obviously you just run off with it.
Yeah.
I might be spiritually awakened and
nice now,
but you're still a dick.
Exactly, I might be nice now, but I used to be a dick, and I recognise as a dick when I see
I recognise a little prick when I see one. So Yeah, that makes more sense.
That does make more sense.
And so the massive turkey arrives. He's got himself all dressed and everything, very haphazardly in his like Sunday best, but you know he's like all over the place, so it's a bit haphazardly put on, like, you know, buttoned up inside out, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And the turkey arrives, and it was a turkey. He never could have stood up upon its legs. That bird, he would have snapped him short off in a minute, like sticks of sealing wax.
Okay.
Okay.
Sounds delicious.
I realise I'm a preachy vegetarian. But that is it. And I realise that you're all tucking into your fucking turkeys right now. But that is a literal thing where they overbreed and put steroids in your food so that it cannot fucking stand up, because it swells up so much and gets so fat before it's properly matured that its legs break under it. That is why the meat industry is disgusting. Merry Christmas.
Really horrible.
Yes, it's
Merry Christmas. Enjoy your turkey.
They pump, because obviously it costs more money if they have to raise them to a certain age. If you can kill them off younger, it's cheaper. So they fatten them up so much when they're really young that they cannot support their own body weight, so their legs break under them. That is your Christmas dinner.
Bred
Enjoy.
them so they grow quicker in a short amount of time. I didn't know about the leg breaking thing. That's fucking dark.
Yes. So them talking about what a wonderful big bird it is with its broken legs. That is a genuine thing. Vegetarianism is the answer. Stop it.
Stop it right now.
I don't care if we get backlash on it. Stop it. It's really dark. So,
you know what, guys? If you've already got a turkey today, eat your turkey.
Eat your turkey
going
today.
To the New Year.
But next year, do better.
Going to the New Year, just apply a little bit of thickness.
You know what I'm having for Christmas dinner? Because we have some vegans around too. I'm not vegan. Vegans are doing better than me. I know I'm terrible. But so we're having a vegan Christmas dinner with mushrooms, leeks, and cashew nuts in like puff pastry. Vegan puff pastry, obviously. And then because we wanted it to be creamier as well, so we've got vegan butter in there and blended up chickpeas, so it's kind of like, so it doesn't taste of it, but it like, because it gives it a creamy texture.
Yeah.
And I can say this when it comes out because we did a practice run the other day to make sure it all kind of worked and everything, and it's fucking good. And
yeah, that's
nothing had to die for it.
Just my taste buds. No, I'm joking. It sounds really nice.
It is really nice. We put a dash of white wine in it as well.
Very. Katie, I told you, don't talk to me about alcohol ever again. I'm sober now, forever. I'm still fucking dying from last week. Never again.
Never again. So, Scrooge goes over to, he's like going around saying Merry Christmas to everyone. He like gives money out to people. He's like, you know, tipping everyone. He asks the butcher to go to Bob Cratchit's house, pays for a cab for him and everything. Obviously pays him for like the trouble and everything, and pays him for the turkey and everything. And then he doesn't go to Bob Cratchit's house on Christmas Day like every adaptation suggests. He goes to Fred's and spends Christmas Day with his nephew, all of Christmas Day. Which is nice.
I prefer that.
It makes more sense.
Thought it would be so awkward. Like, he would come around, give all the presents, and you'd be like, thanks. Like, so, I'll just make myself comfortable then. Like,
we don't know you.
So,
we're a family, you're not.
How's the counting biz? That's all right. It's a bit weird you've got an iron thing on your kid. Probably bring that up later. Like, okay.
There's the one thing. They're always, I mean, I realise that, you know, he's giving them a lot of money and going to save their child's life, but they're very forgiving of him straight away in that. And it is a bit weird because it's like,
yeah.
Well, the second you're like a horrible, I won't say abusive because there are differences. Like, but you know, your horrible boss turns around and is nice to you. I'd be like,
I just thought of the reality of what would happen. You'd give them the turkey, the presents, whatever, the promotion, and they'd be like, "Oh my god, thank you!" And they'd be like, "God, sit down, you know, let's
have a cup of tea,
Christmas,
and
be
then
merry."
go.
And, no, but then they'd start drinking if he was to stay, and then the truth come out like, "Look, I'm not saying you're abusing. All right, you're a cunt. You clearly had some awake, but your turkey don't make it all better.
It doesn't." It's weird.
Like, oh, okay.
So
yeah,
it makes
it's best
sense.
that he goes to his nephew.
Yeah, so he goes to his nephews, and this is one thing I forgot to actually mention earlier. So again, Muppets Christmas Carol, because it's the same story. Well, I mean, it is the same story, but it's the most in line. When they obviously make the joke about like, not a cat or a rat, but an unwanted, unloved creature. It's Ebenezer Scrooge. Obviously, in the film, he's really sad about. They're like, I wish to see no more. In this, he's like,
I want to go home. No.
In this version, which I like both. I like both.
Yeah.
He laughs. He's like, to be fair, you're not wrong.
You got me bang to rights then, mate.
Which I kind of like because it shows his humour.
I like that.
I do like, but I also do like just the humanity of like, what is it? It's you. Oh. Like, you do get emotional, like, oh.
A little bit. I like the book though, because when he was like, "Oh, I'm like, sorry, you've been a dick to everyone your whole life," and then when someone's having a joke about you being a dick, you can't handle it. Come on, grow up. So I do like him being. Like,
I do like him being like
accurate.
To be fair, no one likes me.
Like, I'm a little embarrassed I didn't get it sooner. God.
I'm a little embarrassed it took me this long. So yeah, he's
I'm
like
the worst.
So that's the thing, when he's there like with the Ghost of Christmas Present, he doesn't want to leave. He's like, I'm having such a BG time, let's just stay for one more game and stuff. And the ghost is like, no, come on, got things to look at.
You feel far too good right now, let's go depress you.
And literally it's like, you're doing far too nicely. So he has a BG day with Fred and his family and everyone, and like, so obviously, you know, a new relationship is struck up there. It's just nice. And it's the next day, on Boxing Day, he like goes to work very early and Bob comes in late. And so he pretends to be all like sort of grumpy, being like, Bob Cratchit, what time do you call this? And he's like, I'm very sorry, sir, I was making rather merry yesterday. Like, rubbish excuse, mate.
To be fair, that is a bad excuse. I mean, it's a shitty that you're having to work Boxing Day, but you can't come in and say, sorry, I was pissed the night before. You
literally, I mean, bless your honesty, Bob, but lie. Like,
yeah, lie. You've got an ill son, so you took a funny turn.
Yeah, say your son didn't get up this morning. Lie. Do better.
Yeah. Do much better.
Do much. Yeah. Even, just say, like, you don't have to specify it was a hangover. You can just say, like, I had a really bad headache this morning and had to, like, you know, I had to, like, take a little while to just do better, Bob.
Do better, Bob. Do better. So, yeah.
So then, then Scrooge is telling him off, being like, I will not have this. And he's like, no, please don't fire me. I need this job, or, like, literally my son will die. And he's like, pfft. I'm giving you a raise, mate. I'm going to make you my partner, and I'm going to raise your salary right up. Don't even worry about it.
Right up.
And he's like, now come in here. Now, first thing I want you to do for me, Bob, this morning, mate, is I want you to go and put some bloody coals on that fire. You're like, well, cold, mate. Is that when you're feeling the cold? Come on.
It's chilly.
And Bob's like, ah. All right. And then, verbatim from Christmas Carol, like from the Muppets one as well, Scrooge was better than his word. He did it all and infinitely more. And to Tiny Tim, who did not die, he was a second father. He became as good a friend, as good a master, and as good a man as the good city knew, and of any other city, good old city, town, or borough in the good old world.
Well done, Scrooge. And I bet when you did die, lots of people came to your funeral.
Yeah, Chris. And he had no further intercourse with spirits, kinky, but lived upon the total abstinence principle, even afterwards. And it was always said of him that he knew how to keep Christmas well, if any man alive possessed the knowledge. May that be true, said of us and all of us. And so, as Tiny Tim observed, God bless us, everyone. But as an atheist, and it's Christmas, I would like to say, Father Christmas bless us, everyone.
Yes, very good. Much better. I realise I just have boobs, so I wanted to do my costume too. Yeah. Very, very nice. Well, we hope that you're having a good Christmas, everybody.
We hope it's as good as it can be, given the fact Boris cancelled it.
Yeah, and it's hopefully 1 year, and I've heard this trend that people are planning to do Christmas in April. After recent news, I really hope that's not optimistic. I really hope that's factual. Who says Christmas has to be in the winter? We'll just do it again where we can all be together.
I have heard people saying, like, we'll just do a big Easter thing instead.
Yeah. So that's what I mean. I hope it's factual that we can do that. Or realistic. Fingers crossed, guys. we'll just get through this and look back on it as that really shitty time where we listened to podcasts.
I realise 2020's been a shitty year. But at least you're not Ebenezer Scrooge.
Yeah, that's true.
At least you're not him. At least you're not Tiny Tim having to be like, having to have like some like physical problems and being told, you know what we're gonna do for you, mate? I'm gonna put an iron frame on you. It's gonna make it worse.
Literally.
Like, I really rather you didn't.
Like, I think I should actually just sprain my ankle. You must wear it forever.
It's gonna make things worse. So
I have a request instead of our normal plugs.
Yes.
I have a request instead of our normal plugs this year.
Yeah.
So instead of like going to like see us on social media or whatever, or plugging our Patreon, I have one request. Just tell a friend that you think might like us. You're listening, you're watching, you presumably like us. Just tell a friend, I have this podcast and I think you might like it. And that would do us a solid present this year. And
also, no one has any money this year. Tell them it's your Christmas present to them is the gift of joy and laughter.
Mm-hmm. And sassy bitches.
Sassy bitches who dress as elves.
Yeah. Well, have a good Christmas, guys, and soon
Merry
this
Christmas.
shitty year will be over.
Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas. Bye.